Every breakthrough in human history is just a domino waiting to fall. A bicycle repair shop unlocked the sky. A 40-minute flight ended an island's defense. And a desperate postal route laid the tracks for the modern world. We did not just stumble into the jet age, we were pushed. Forced by physics, driven by conflict, and saved by disaster. Because in the story of aviation, the final destination is always just the beginning. At the start of 1900s, everyone trying to build a flying machine made the same mistake. They focused entirely on big wings and powerful engines. But their planes kept crashing. Why? Because they thought flying was like driving a car or steering a boat. They thought the sky was flat. But two brothers who fixed bicycles for a living saw the truth. The Wright brothers knew that a bicycle is naturally unstable. It wants to fall over. But a human can ride it because they constantly adjust their balance. They realized the sky was not a flat road, it was an ocean of moving air. In 1903, they proved it. They invented a way to tilt and balance the wings in the air. They solved the problem of control. Flight was finally real. But then, the first domino fell. The Wright brothers were very secretive and hid their ideas behind legal patents. This angered other inventors, especially in Europe. It forced them to create their own, completely new designs. In 1909, a Frenchman named Louis Blériot flew across the English Channel. It took him just 37 minutes, but it changed the world forever. For hundreds of years, Great Britain was safe from invasion because it was an island protected by a massive navy. In less than 40 minutes, a single man proved that Britain's water moat could no longer protect them. Governments around the world panicked. They realized aeroplanes were no longer toys, they were dangerous weapons. The race to prepare for air warfare had begun. When World War I started in 1914, planes were only used to spy on the enemy. Pilots would actually wave at each other as they flew past. But soon, things turned violent. The big turning point was a clever but terrifying invention, the interrupter gear. This device timed the machine gun so it could shoot through the spinning propeller blades without hitting them. Suddenly, the aeroplane was a deadly weapon. Because of the war, aviation advanced incredibly fast. In just 4 years, engines became 5 times more powerful. Wood and fabric were replaced by strong metal frames. But when the war ended in 1918, the world faced a new problem. There were thousands of military planes and pilots left over, and no war left to fight. What do you do with thousands of extra planes? You use them to deliver mail. Governments realized planes could move letters much faster than trains. It was a highly dangerous job. Pilots flew in open cockpits through freezing storms and thick fog without any modern instruments. In the early days, many pilots died. But this danger dropped the next domino. To save their pilots, governments had to build safety systems. They painted giant concrete arrows on the ground to guide pilots, built light towers for night flying, and used radios to talk to the ground. By making the skies safe enough to carry a letter, they accidentally made it safe enough to carry people. These mail routes became the world's first commercial airlines. By the 1930s, aeroplanes changed completely. They were now built with a new, lightweight aluminum metal. The greatest plane of this time was the Douglas DC 3. Before the DC 3, airlines could not make money just by selling passenger tickets. They needed government financial help. The DC 3 changed everything. It was the first plane that made a profit just by carrying people. Flight was now a normal way to travel. But as World War II approached, engineers hit a wall made of physics. To make propeller planes go faster, you need bigger engines. But engineers discovered a limit. When propeller blades spin too fast, their tips reach the speed of sound. This causes violent shaking that can tear the plane apart. Propeller planes could not go any faster. To break the speed barrier, engineers had to throw away the propeller entirely. They had to invent something new, the jet engine. A jet engine works simply. It sucks in air, compresses it, mixes it with fuel, and blasts it out the back. In 1952, the British Comet became the world's first commercial jet airliner. It flew twice as fast and twice as high as older planes. It was quiet, smooth, and felt like the future. But progress can be cruel. Because the Comet flew so high, the cabin had to be pumped with high air pressure so passengers could breathe. Engineers did not yet understand that constant squeezing and releasing of pressure weakens metal over time. Tragically, a few Comet planes broke apart in midair. These disasters forced the entire aviation world to change. It led to the invention of the black box flight recorder and created the ultra strict safety tests we use today. It made modern flying the safest way to travel on Earth. Once the safety problems of early jets were fixed, the golden age of flying began. The star of this era was the Boeing 707 introduced in 1958. The 707 made the world feel much smaller. Crossing the Atlantic Ocean did not take days anymore. It took just 6 hours. But this success created a massive new problem. The 707 was too popular. By the mid-1960s, airports were totally overcrowded. Skies were full, delays were constant, and airports were running out of space. The head of Pan Am Airlines gave Boeing a giant challenge. Build a plane more than twice the size of the 707. Boeing took a huge gamble that almost bankrupted the company. They built the 747, also known as the Queen of the Skies. To get a plane that huge off the ground, engineers had to invent a new kind of jet engine. This engine pushed huge amount of cool air around the earth center, creating massive power while using much less fuel. The 747 was a massive financial risk, but it worked. Because it could carry over 400 people on a single flight, the price of a ticket dropped significantly. Flying was no longer just for the rich. The 747 opened up global travel to regular, everyday families. For the first 80 years, aviation cared about two things: how much bigger and how much faster. We even built supersonic planes like the Concorde, but they used too much fuel and were too expensive. When global oil prices spiked in the 1970s, the goal of aviation changed overnight. Speed was out, saving fuel was in. To save fuel, aeroplanes had to join the computer age. In 1980s, planes introduced fly-by-wire. Engineers removed the heavy metal cables that connected the pilot's steering wheel to the wings. They replaced them with lightweight electrical wires and flight computers. Now, the computer listens to the pilot and moves the wings parts perfectly to save every drop of fuel. This technology led to today's modern planes, like the Boeing 787 and Airbus A350. These planes are not even made of regular metal. They are woven from advanced carbon fiber plastic. They are lighter, stronger, and glide through the air perfectly. From two brothers fixing bicycles in Ohio to plastic airplanes controlled by computers at 500 miles per hour, every step in aviation history happened because of the step before it. A solution to one problem became the start of a new dream. One domino knocked over the next, shrinking our world and bringing us all closer together. As we look to the future, building electric planes and cleaner fuels, the chain reaction continues. The story of flight never stops.